can't tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Brad and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all pin Ziffy, I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SP, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad every morning. Marques, Brad, Justin, Emery.
Yo.
Big anniversary today.
Oh, I'm so glad that you had something because I was sitting here like, oh, I forgot to look something up. Nothing happened today again.
March 19th,
Okay.
1995. The return of his airness.
Of who?
Jordan. His airness.
Oh, I didn't know. Aaron.
The return of his airness.
His Aaron. Okay.
Yeah, this is the anniversary, the 26th anniversary of the return of Michael Jordan to the NBA.
Yeah. Okay.
This is one of those like where were you moments because like I was a kid. We talked about this before. Like my family is extremely religious. I was in church every Sunday. This is one of the very few battles that I won to stay home from church. Like I like begged and pleaded and because it was on a Sunday. And they played the Pacers at Madison Square Garden. It was NBA and NBC. And it was going to be like I think it was a 1 o'clock game, 12:30, 1 o'clock tip-off. I was like, Mom, Michael Jordan is coming back to the NBA today. I can't be out here clapping in the front row. I can't do it today. I got to be home to watch Michael. Like, come on. And like, she's like, I don't know. And when I got the I don't know, I was like, okay. There's a chance here. I'm going to keep on.
Better than a no.
Yeah, I was like,
Better
Mom.
than a no.
It's like, listen. I was like, I go to church every week. Jesus will be okay if I stay home 1 week to watch Michael Jordan. It'll be all right. I got my wish. I was so happy. And then fast forward a couple months later, we did our 9th grade field trip to New York City. And like, it's so cool like doing stuff like that. Like that's like I was 14 at the time. So like, you're not used to being places like that without like your parents. So like it's automatically a cool experience because you're like with your friends and like you're going through like having a time. So we ended up going to this like sports store, and they had just released the Jordan comeback T-shirts. It was Jordan brand. It was a picture of Jordan on the front, and it said Jordan. I actually have a replica of it now. They remade it, and on the back it said Jordan's back. But I had a picture of his back with number 45. And, like, I had some cash in my pocket. Shirt was like $35. I was like, I am buying this T-shirt. I felt like a boss. Got have a little bag, got on the bus. I was there, bro. That was one of the best days of my life. My mom hooked me up with a Max cheesesteak to ride down. We were on one of those, like, not the school bus, but, like, the luxury buses.
Like the charter buses.
Yeah, bro.
With the bathroom in the back?
My bag. So happy. But, yeah, March 19th, 1985. Michael Jordan returns to the NBA.
I was in first grade.
All right, anyway. do you remember Jordan coming back, or do you have any recollection of it?
No.
Because you being in first grade, you didn't even know he played before 95.
No.
So you were just like, oh, this guy here.
See, like, so when it comes to sports, like, for the Sixers, So, no one in my family growing up was really a basketball fan. Like my dad was a football and hockey fan with with a little bit of baseball.
Yeah.
Except he was also a huge Dr. J fan. Now he was a huge Dr.
I mean, it makes sense because the explosion of basketball is really the 90s.
Yeah.
Like it started the resurgence was 80s, but the explosion was 90s.
Yeah. No. He was a huge Dr. J fan.
Okay.
And growing up, all I heard was how Dr. J was the greatest basketball player ever. But growing up. It wasn't really until Iverson hit the scene that
things got serious.
because I was also 7 when he got drafted. So
right.
But once Iverson hit the scene, that was.
It's interesting because your perspective of like the Sixers during that time period has to be a lot different than mine because you got started in the Iverson era, I got started in the Barkley era. So like I'm used to like all of that losing, where you kind of saw a team kind of get built.
Like my very, very first real recollection of basketball is the Iverson crossover on Jordan. That's
Yeah,
like
so
the first time when I was
rookie
like,
year. So you're talking 96.
that's like the first time I'm like, all right, boom.
Yeah.
And then when it was during the 2001 season where it was like, all right, I'm all
Yeah,
in.
you're all the way in.
What was I? I was like 12 then.
Yeah,
11,
that's
12 years old.
perfect age.
So like, that
Perfect
season,
age.
I was in
I
seventh,
wish
6th, 7th, 8th grade. Something
Yeah,
like that.
I wish I had like the only championship run that I saw at that age was the 93 Phillies. I was 12 turning 13 when 93 Phillies had their 1 year. But that was the only championship run I saw until the Sixers run when I was turning 20. I was like 21, which is again still a regret that wasn't around here. But I actually wanted to get into the Sixers because I'm upset, and I'm not upset at them at all. I want to go back. I want to go back to Wednesday.
All right. I talked about this slightly yesterday, and I'll echo those thoughts after.
So we had a conversation on Wednesday about that game Wednesday night against the Bucks, and we both were on the same page. Where listen, this is not a barometer test. This is not a game to judge them on. Yep. This is probably going to be a loss. This is one of those times like when you watch sports, you understand
there's some games
ebbs and flows. You understand spots of schedule.
I mean, I asked you this last time. Did Jordan go 82-0?
No.
There you go.
I re-entered that by saying, when they were 72-10, they lost to the Vancouver Grizzlies. Like you had those losses on Vancouver Grizzlies. You remember Vancouver?
No, sir.
The Grizz? Before they became Memphis, they were Vancouver Grizzlies. Big Country Reeves?
We're not talking about the Canucks?
No, but they're the same city.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's Western Canada, though.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize there's a big difference between Eastern Canada and Western Canada.
It's very cowboyish, isn't it? Like very farms.
What's
and
the word? What's it called? The front, not the. Is it frontier? No, that's not the word. Like the outback, It's like,
yeah. That's what I picture when I think of like Western Canada. I think of like long, like cowboy trench coat types and like the hats and the wrangling cattle and all that stuff.
When I used to do the show with the guys from the NHL, Adam and Mike, Adam was a guy who was always like in the studio, in the office. Mm-hmm. Mike was always on the road. It's like NHL was sending him all over the place.
Right.
They sent him out deep into Western Canada for like a junior hockey like scouting combine or something.
Right.
And we're talking February in Western Canada, and he's calling in live, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm calling from Vancouver.
Here I am."
He's like, "There's 4.5 feet of snow on the ground.
I'm gonna catch my own steak."
It was Western Canada's a different beast.
Yeah. So going in the game, like when I watched that game Wednesday, I didn't have high expectations, and it's very rare that I go into a game without expectations. But this was one of those games where I didn't have
laid everything
expectations.
out. On paper, it should have been a L, potentially a hard L.
So the Sixers go in and they play their hearts out, man. They go out there and they played the Bucks really well. They held the Bucks to something like 30 points in the first.
31 points in the first half.
Yeah, in the first half,
ballooning a 19-point lead.
Right. They looked dominant, and the Bucks were a pretty good 3-point shooting team. Couldn't hit a bucket, and it was like, okay, well maybe we'll get one of those what I call the bonus wins, where this is just like things just work out and you get an extra win. So I'm here for it. Second half, Bucks start to come back. They fight back. They bring the game close, and they eventually tie the game. Korkmaz hits an amazing shot to go to overtime. The down three hits a shot, put him in the overtime.
He broke free of DiVincenzo.
Yeah,
which was a bad defensive play by him.
Terrible. I said the same thing. Danbury. Yeah, it was bad defensive play.
I think it was Doris Burke on the call.
Mm-hmm.
She made even a better point at the end of the.
Love me some Doris.
Yes. On the other side, why didn't Chris Middleton just dribble the clock out?
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, DiVincenzo runs. It almost looked like it was Olay. He just ran past him. He just overshot it. I don't know what he thought was happening or what he thought Korkmaz was going to do, but
he didn't. Whatever it was, he didn't read it properly.
Right, but hey, you got to make the shot at the end of the day, and he made the shot. And listen, I was hard on him early in the season, but again, I gotta say he's playing much better, and he's playing with a much more confidently. Like he looks like he belongs on an NBA basketball court. I mean, I'm not saying to be. I'm saying to probably be respectful, not disrespectful. Like he looks like he's
competent now. He's
hitting open shots.
I mean, he looks engaged. I'm still calling him out when he plays bad. I'm still trying to move hhim.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's still airballed in overtime from a 12-footer. That happened. But I gotta be real. Like he is playing better. I haven't changed my stance on him.
But he is playing
better.
But
he's playing better, so I have to acknowledge that. So you go to the overtime, and listen, you're on a back-to-back, okay? You're missing your best player. There has to come a time where you
Seth Curry got hurt.
Seth Curry sprains his ankle.
Man.
There has to come a time where you just burn out.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened in the Sixers in overtime. They had nothing left to give. The Korkmaz J was kind of like the last stand. And you get to overtime, and you're missing your best player. You're tired. Giannis gets hot. Okay? Giannis hits a three, which, you give him the three, because obviously, why wouldn't you not? He hits a three.
He was not shooting anything earlier in the game.
And I don't have a problem with anything that happened in the actual game. Because how can you be mad at a team that should have been blown out, but fights hard to stay in a game like that against a top 3 seed in the East off a back-to-back? How can you be upset about that?
I mean, I'm disappointed with the fact that they lost after how it went. We said on the show on Wednesday, don't overreact.
You get greedy.
Don't overreact. But when you have a 19-point lead, and I believe it was a 16-point lead at half, expectations change. And then I expected them to win the game. Now, here's how crazy it was. It was a 14-point lead for the Sixers. I said, all right, bet. About halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to take Swoop to go to the bathroom, come back in, walk in real quick, then we'll watch the end of this game. I come back in, and the game's tied. Marcus, the game was tied.
It happened fast. Like it was not like a slow
went
bleed.
Out, pissed, came back in, and it was tied.
It wasn't a slow bleed. It happened fast. But again, when you are like coming off that back-to-back, those legs start to go a little bit. And like that kind of started to happen. And the Sixers, listen, they weren't scoring juggernauts Wednesday. They just played really good defense. But they were having trouble scoring throughout the entire game. Scoring was not easy for them. So it continued to be not easy for them, but now the Bucks are getting buckets. So you're running this whole thing where you're just trying to hold on, and they just couldn't. So for me personally, I was not upset with blowing the lead. I was not upset with the way anything worked out. Here's, however, why I am upset. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, and you're from their perspective, you're not coming off of back-to-back. You have all of your guys there. You're healthy. You are coming into this in a situation where you should be coming in to take this team's head off.
Yes.
This should be a 20, 25-point win easy for you.
I don't know about that high, but I hear what you're saying.
It should be comfortable.
It should be a double-digit win.
It should be comfortable. And you should be coming in to blow the doors off the Wells Fargo Center and off the Sixers.
It's to the point that Giannis should not have seen the fourth quarter.
Right. So that doesn't happen.
You're
trailing the majority of the game. You get into overtime.
Abysmal shooting. I mean, the Bucks are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. And at one point in time, they were 1 for 17.
Right. So all that happens. You have to go to overtime to win.
Yes.
You only win by a couple baskets.
4 points.
And we're sitting on a logo. That's how we feel. We sit like the disrespect. I don't is just not. Listen, I'm all for trash talk. I don't get upset when someone else's team is talking trash because my team. I don't get upset about that at all. I don't get upset, obviously, when we're talking trash. I love trash talk. There's a place in the game for it.
Yes.
And there's a place in the game to be disrespectful. Like Ja Morant the other night when he crossed over my guy and then pointed at him, that was hilarious. Like, there's a place and time for all of that stuff. However, this was not it. This wasn't it. This was you barely beat the number one seed.
They should have been annoyed that they won. Like, happy they won, but annoyed in the fashion that they won.
Right.
Like, if I was who's their coach?
I forget that guy's name.
It's not Nick Nurse, right?
No.
Okay. If I'm the coach in the locker room, I'm like, all right, we got the win.
Right.
But this is not a pretty win. We got work to do.
Right. Right. Like it's like, and then like if I was a coach and go to the locker room, I'm like, Giannis, what was that? What are you doing? Why are you sitting in the local? So you think that you winning by 4 in overtime against a team missing their best player off the back-to-back is a reason to go sit in the logo and act like you just won? They acted like they just won Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Like were you expecting champagne in your locker room? Like that's this is such a forgettable basketball game in the sense that that was March 17th. There's so much season to go. That's not a game I'm thinking about, as a statement game at any point. And like they're looking at it as such, but they didn't make a statement. What statement did you make? If you wanted to be a statement game, you go out and make a statement by winning by 20. What statement did you make? The statement that I got from that is you're not good enough. That's my statement. My statement is if Embiid's healthy, we stomp you.
Oh, yeah.
That's my statement.
I said...
Embiid could have came out in his slippers he's wearing on the sidelines and came out and gave it 15 and 10. And would have stomped you.
I said yesterday on the show, if Embiid plays, this could be a 15-20 point Sixers win.
Yeah.
Easy.
And if you want to be completely honest about it, over the past couple years, the Sixers have dominated the Bucks. Because what the Sixers do really well against Milwaukee is that the Sixers have multiple guys that can guard Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're the only team in the NBA that have a bunch of guys they can switch on him. Even last year, going back to last year, you put Thibault on him. You were putting Richardson on him. You were putting Simmons on him. You were putting Horford on him. You were putting Embiid on him. That's 5 guys. This year is the same thing. This year you go Simmons on him. You go Embiid on him. You can go Thibault on him. You can give Curry a couple minutes on him. You give Harris a couple minutes on him. Dwight a couple minutes on him. You have multiple guys that can match up with him. And, he ended up Antetokounmpo ended up having a good game, no question. He did. However, against Ben Simmons, he didn't.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons did what Ben does. The penitentiary. He did what Ben does. He did not have good numbers against Ben Simmons at all.
He had a good line for the game, but he didn't.
I think I have his actual stats against Ben.
Did you hear what he said during the press after the game in regards to his post-game meal?
Yeah. First of all, the whiz wit, bro.
Well, no, did you hear how he said he wanted his cheesesteak first?
Yes. But people
Can I get it with cheese and mustard? Is what he said.
Well, no one had sense enough to tell him that American cheese is not a whiz wit.
Don't get me wrong. I understand he's from Greece. Like,
yeah, but but I'm not mad at him. But somebody should correct him. Say, hey, bro, a whiz wit is not American cheese.
Yeah, they need to have. He needs somebody better around him.
Yeah, he's like I always say, you need people around you. So Giannis against Ben shot 2 for 8 and committed 4 turnovers when guarded by Ben. So he had 32, 15, and 5. Which is a great game.
That's a really good game.
But not against Ben.
No.
Not against Ben. So don't come with that energy. And again, like I said, the Bucks haven't fared well against the Sixers over the past couple years. They haven't. The Sixers have played really well against them. We all remember the Christmas Day game.
I mean, yeah, head to head, Embiid usually takes him.
And Embiid usually guards him too.
Yes.
Embiid's usually the guy they put on Giannis. Ben hasn't really guarded Giannis a lot. He could do it, but Embiid's usually the main defender on Giannis. Yeah, so for me, like this like the whole energy of how they came here and acted after they won the game, you guys are like clowns. That was clownish behavior. And like it's okay to talk trash, okay to do that, but like, if I'm like if I'm playing against a team like that I know I should beat, I'm a little more quiet than I would be unless they said something to me. If they said something to me, then yeah, we can talk. But like if I'm playing against a team that like I know, okay, yeah, we're playing. We all had those teams. We're in school. We're like, okay, we're going to Penn Ridge. It's going to be a dub. Everyone just go do your jobs. This is you have those teams where you know, like, okay.
As long as we execute the way that we're supposed to.
Yeah, there's no reason why we should do that. And then you got in like the situations like that where like you would win a game like that against a team like that, and you go on the bus and your coach is, yeah, what was that? What are you guys doing? You guys took him for granted. I can tell you took him for granted. You were taking it seriously, and you almost lost the game. That's the energy it should have been.
I agree.
And Giannis's energy, like he was joking around talking about cheesesteaks. Like that's not being a good team leader. That's why you guys don't go far in the playoffs, because you're happy and content with these wins, and you think this is important. Like you think the late great Kobe Bryant, after a game like that, would have been talking about a whiz wit?
Oh no! Oh no! No.
Like you think he would have been? You think Michael Jeffrey Jordan would be talking about sandwiches after that?
No.
No. LeBron?
No.
Like these, like you don't, like you should, as a leader of your team, your job is to keep your team focused and to always have your eyes on the prize and keep their eyes on the prize. He didn't look like a leader on Wednesday. He looked like a clown. It's clownish behavior. And we all know, listen, it's well documented with me. I'm not a Giannis Antetokounmpo fan. Like I always said about him, I think he's a great athlete. I don't think he's a great basketball player. And those are also reasons why they don't do well in the playoffs. But we can also point to things like this. If this is your leadership, sitting on a logo after beating a team missing their best player on a back-to-back by 4 in overtime, if this is the energy and this is what you guys are doing, there's another reason why you don't go far in the playoffs. Like you lost to Miami Heat they've lost as an underdog the past 2 years in the playoffs. They were favored against the Raptors. They were favored against the Heat. L's. Big L's. Big L's. Big L's. So you already should be coming into this season with a major chip on your shoulder. People don't trust you in the playoffs. Like when people say about you and your team, yeah, they're good, but that's what the Milwaukee Bucks are. Mm-hmm. They're good, but they're good. However, that's what they are. They're a comma. That's what you are. Like people talk about you, yeah, they're a pretty good team. However, when you get in the playoffs, who knows? Even though I know, because they're not built for the playoffs. Because their best player is not built for the playoffs. They are one of the easiest teams to defend in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Because you have, listen.
Now,
Giannis is going to get.
Let me.
Right, okay.
We have a new addition to them, PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
That could be a different look for them.
He's another shooter. I mean, he's another shooter. He's going to play good defense. He's a guy that was linked to the Sixers possibly coming here. And, yeah, he can knock down an open jump shot. He's not a shooter. But, however, they still are an easy team to defend because this is the problem with them, is that their best player is, as good as he is, he's predictable. He's predictable. You know how to defend him in the playoffs because he's so predictable. On top of that, their second best player is a tremendous drop-off of their best player. Like Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Chris, listen, I know Chris Middleton made an all-star team, but let's be honest. Chris Middleton cannot be the second best player on. Like, I'm taking Tobias Harris over Chris Middleton.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not even close.
It's not even close right now.
It's not even close.
Chris Middleton in the playoffs is not a guy that I want to rely on for anything. That's your second best player. You're saying I can't rely on this guy for anything. Like, what do you get from him is like, okay, you get from him. And then now you have the DiVincenzo's. Drew Holiday was a nice addition. I love Drew Holiday's game. I love Drew Holiday. However, am I scared of Drew Holiday? No. Am I scared of Dante DiVincenzo? No. Am I scared of PJ Tucker? No.
No.
Am I scared of Brook Lopez? No. I'm not scared of anybody. Like, I'm not scared of anybody on this team.
I hate Brook Lopez.
Splash Mountain?
I hate him so much. The amount of times, and obviously the vast majority of my hatred towards basketball players come from them not winning bets for me. But I can tell you, Brooke Lopez has cost me no less than 4 to 5 bets. Himself.
On individual bets?
Yes. Like on, hey, I need you to hit 2 3-pointers.
And it's just not happening.
No. Hey, you're 7 feet tall and you're a center. I need you to get 4 rebounds.
No. He's not going to do that for you.
No.
Yeah, like, they're just not a team that – and when you look at the way the Raptors and the Heat played them the last 2 years in playoffs, they were not scared of them. They weren't scared of them. And you're talking them as they were number 1 seeds both these years. They were the favorites. And, this is – going back to the Raptors series, they were fans then. So you had the energy of the first reform. That didn't go well.
Not
and
at
then,
all.
In the bubble, you choked. You choked. I mean, the Miami Heat snatched their soul.
Just saw an interesting quote that I did not see before this.
Okay, from?
LeVar Ball.
Okay, about?
Lonzo.
Okay.
Man, I hope they trade him. Lonzo hates New Orleans. I'd love to see him somewhere in the Eastern Conference. I'm not saying I'm just reading the quote.
I'm just thinking.
No,
like,
I'm not.
Lonzo Ball.
There's no connections to the Sixers.
Right, but here's the issue. I'm just thinking about because Lonzo Ball has improved dramatically as a basketball player.
Oh, he doesn't like it there. I got you.
He's improved
because I was like, why would they want to get rid of him?
Well, his name. Remember, at the beginning of the year, his name was linked to trades.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on out there. Like Lonzo Ball's drastically improved as a basketball player. However, I don't know about him here because he's if you think about his game, he's kind of a poor man's Ben Simmons. He has a lot of Ben Simmons in his game. He's a really good defender. He's a better jump shooter than Ben Simmons. He's a more willing jump shot taker than Ben Simmons. But it's not like he's not a knockdown jump shooter. But he wants to facilitate. That's what he wants to facilitate and play defense.
Who is this? This is from Mark Stein.
Okay.
Right now, the leader in the clubhouse for a potential Lonzo Ball trade is the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I could that something like that makes sense. Like I could see him because Clippers have enough scoring where they don't need him to necessarily be a scorer, but he plays really good defense. He's a great passer, elite passer, and an elite defender. That's why I mean he's a poor man's Ben Simmons. Like he's not as athletically gifted as Ben Simmons, so like that's why I call him a poor man's Ben Simmons. But like he has a lot of those same attributes. Where that's why I don't think it would be a fit here because we already have Ben Simmons and he's better at everything Lonzo does. And so like if we're bringing someone in here, I need me like I said, a really high profile bench piece or a starter to put one of either Danny Green or Steph Curry on the bench to strengthen the bench. That's how this needs to go. But, to wrap up this Bucks conversation, relax, guys. I want to say to you guys, just relax. Take a quote from one of your principal owners, Aaron Rodgers. RELAX, relax.
Pump the brakes, man.
Like, bro, you didn't do anything special. Listen, you win a game like that in the playoffs, by all means, sit on the logo, talk about cheesesteaks, whatever you want to do. You win a game like that against when we're at full strength, not coming off a back-to-back, do you? Okay, fine. Wednesday night was not the night to celebrate that way. But going forward, do we have Sixers tonight?
No, I looked already. We got a back-to-back over the weekend.
So Saturday, Sunday, what are we looking at?
I don't know. I forget. I know. Not poor performance out of me. I know.
I'm gonna pull it up now. All right. So we got March 20th and 21st. You got the Kings at home, and then you start that road trip with the Knicks.
West Coast road trip.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah.
Right. You start with the Knicks, but then you go Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets. which is a tough stretch. But I feel like the Kings. Listen, don't sleep on the Kings now. I'm not saying that the Kings are one of those teams where De'Aaron Fox is good enough to ruin your night. De'Aaron Fox can put up 40 and ruin the night.
But he also could get put in the penitentiary.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a life sentence in the penitentiary, or at least a night sentence in the penitentiary.
Then to finish off that road trip, you got Cleveland.
Yeah, the Knicks one's gonna be a tough one because they're gonna be out looking for revenge. You just played them last week. They almost beat you at home. You're seeing them there.
So we had circled April 14th as the Embiid.
Yes.
Event. Sixers, April 22nd and 24th.
That home and home with Bucks.
Double road
with the Bucks. That's gonna be interesting. And Embiid's gonna be angry. This is something I want to bring up about him. So he's on the sidelines. I think this is the first. Maybe I'm wrong. This is the first time I feel like I've seen him since the knee injury. Is that right or wrong? I don't feel like I saw him on the sidelines for any other game before that.
Well, when did he get hurt again?
He got hurt. He got hurt that Friday night. They came back from
Wizards
break against the Wizards. Yeah.
So Spurs. I don't recall seeing him at the Spurs.
I don't think I saw him at the Spurs. I don't think I saw him against the Knicks either.
I don't recall.
Those were the only two times you would have seen him. I don't think. I'm going to say I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I think that's
so.
I didn't see him either.
So they didn't pan in on this part, but I was watching. He reacted to a call, right? And he stood up, immediately, which maybe I'm reading into this a little bit too much, but didn't see that the reaction of him to this call of standing up and how fast he got up. It was okay. I mean, maybe we're gonna be all right here. Maybe we'll get him back a little bit sooner. Listen, I'm not a doctor by any means, but I know with a knee, you don't want to react the way he reacted on a knee injury. So hopefully, that would give people some good news. I don't know, the Biden report and people saying they think he might be out the rest of the season. I don't understand that at all. I know he has knee issues. I know he has the injury history and all that stuff. But I don't see at all how we think that he's gonna miss the rest of the season. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting those type of vibes from him.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. Are you worried about that at all? Him missing the rest of the season? I'm not worried about that at all.
I think you're looking into it a little bit too much.
Maybe I am.
Understand it because Marcus, he just stood up. He didn't run down the court. He
right,
but
I
understand
the way
what you're saying.
It was one of these, when you have a bum knee, anyone's had I've actually been knock on wood pretty good with my knees. I've only sprained my knee one time, but when I did that, there were no sudden movements for a couple weeks. And this was just a sprain. So, there was no, hopping up. Everything was slow motion and relaxing. So, that's why, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But it made me feel good. And he looked comfortable. He never looked like he was, in any pain. He was wearing, I don't know what he had underneath his pants. Maybe it was a brace, something like that. But, he looked okay. So, I'm just hoping that maybe we get some good news in 2 weeks. I think what people need to remember, though, is that because I think people I don't think I know people. People don't read everything all the way and don't.
People don't read.
Yeah.
You could have just stopped there.
Yeah, you could have stopped there. So, remember, he's getting reevaluated in 2 weeks. Doesn't mean he's coming back in 2 weeks. He's getting reevaluated. So, even at the best case scenario, it's going to be at least 3 weeks, I feel. Because even if they say after 2 weeks, yo, this is a go, now we got to work on the conditioning again. Now we got to get some shots up.
I'm sticking by the timeline we made of that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But best case scenario is 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's not coming back after 2 weeks. It's not happening. It's a reevaluation.
You will not see him in the month of March.
That's fair. Fair.
Now, I still think I'm going with the game on the 14th against the Nets. That's my estimation.
Yeah, I agree.
But you will not see him in the month of March.
I'm with you.
And would you take him on the West Coast trip?
No. I don't want him flying with a knee. No. Listen, if he wants to,
I think I'm telling him to stay back. Because your last game is April 1st against Cleveland in Cleveland.
Right.
And then you're back on a homestand after that. And
right.
That's when we would hit your 3-week mark.
Right.
So I wouldn't take him on the road trip personally. Just me.
Right.
But
right. Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would either. But Yeah, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, it was a press conference Thursday. So get the music ready.
I hate everything.
You hate it here?
I hate this city. I hate this football team. I don't actually, but I'm just like,
We'll talk about it on the other side.
You were right. I said I wanted them to go away, and they're just not going to go away.
It's not happening. This is gonna be a thing forever. Bradman in the morning. Marques Brown, Justin Emery. We're right back. Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys today about my friends at Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality and gourmet ice cream and sorbet, made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available. Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road in Warminster and is open all year round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let their friendly staff serve you happiness one scoop at a time.
Hey, everybody. I want to tell you about Beef Jerky Outlet. 110 Lincoln Highway in Langhorne, right at the corner of Business Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. Check them out online at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne. Use promo code BREMI for 10% off your orders. You can check out, they have all sorts of them. Everything you could think of beef jerky, they have. They have a ton of other stuff too. Spices, barbecue sauces, peanuts, all different kind of things. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue turkey jerky. Head up there. Sharon and Michael will take great care of you. Again, use promo code BREMI for 10% off your order at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys about my friends at Amy's Pizza. Amy has a plethora of pizzas for your munching pleasure, especially pizzas such as Hawaiian, margarita, and taco. Taco actually being my personal favorite. And also plenty more. If it's sandwiches you desire, they've got those too. Cheesesteaks, burgers, hoagies, even gyros. Amy's offers pickup and takeout options. Also, they're available on Grubhub. Amy's located at 332 York Road in the heart of Hatboro. You can call them today at 215-957-1000. Again, that's 215-957-1000. Welcome back, Brown in the Morning. Marques Brown, Justin Emery. And yes, yesterday was press conference Thursday, where the Colts busted out the packing peanuts, dusted it off, and unwrapped their new quarterback.
Yeah.
So going into this press conference, I was not going to talk about this press conference. Then it happened, and it forced my hand into having to talk about this press conference. Because Carson Wentz, once again, cannot get out of his own way. And instead of making things better, made things worse. First of all, and again, I say this all the time. You know, it's good to have good people around you. It's good to have good people around you because those people can steer you away from making mistakes and doing things that just don't make sense. You got to have people around you who can tell you, no, this is a bad idea. Like, I say it all the time about music. Like, there's some songs I'm released. I hear them, I'm like, you obviously did not have anyone in the room telling you no this day because this is not something that should have been released. It comes to a movie sometimes. You got pre-screening. Yo, this is, we need to make some tweaks here. Same thing goes to sports. Who in the room told Carson Wentz it was a good idea to wear the number 2? Who told him that was the move? Of all the numbers you could pick, you picked the number of the guy that, for all things considered, basically replaced you as a quarterback in your previous employer. That's what we're doing. That's the number you pick. So that right off the bat was just a bizarre move that I don't understand. And then he starts talking. and then we really go off the rails. So I have some quotes that I've highlighted that are pretty interesting. First of all, there was a whole thing about the Philly media that they weren't being allowed to participate. Yeah. And I'm seeing things for the most part they didn't. Like Howard Eskin, I know got a question in, but I don't consider Howard Eskin to be like prototypical Philly media anymore. I think Howard Eskin has more of a national reputation in Philly. Like
I would say Howard Eskin. He's definitely still Philly-based media.
Yeah.
Because he does the Eagles sideline reporting. He's still a Philadelphia-based media personality, but I would say that he is one of the personalities that when the national media wants to talk to someone, he's very high up on their list.
Yes,
he's up on their list of people,
and that's what I mean.
Mike Missinelli's up there.
Right.
Like these are guys that want to do.
That's what I mean. I mean, like he has more of a national cachet. So him getting into me, it's still like if Les Bowen would have asked a question. Or Marcus Hayes, or Kevin Cooney, I would have been like, okay, this still was kind of a Philly band. Like, those guys didn't ask questions.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were part of it or they were in the room.
From what I read, the only 2 people that were in the room, and by room I mean the Zoom chat room, it was Eskin and Les Bowen.
Okay.
That's from what I read. It could have been more, but from my understanding, those were the 2 that made it in.
So Carson opens by thanking the Colts for believing in him, and he thanks Lurie, Howie Roseman, the Eagles, and he said he wouldn't trade those years for the world. So we're starting with lies.
Yeah,
we start with the lies, and then he starts talking about how they got there because everyone wants to know, like, bro, you haven't talked since December. What the deal is?
Yeah.
So he says after the season there was a lot of back and forth with me and the agent. Things didn't end the way I wanted. Not gonna say too much on that stuff. What do you mean things didn't end the way you wanted? You asked for a trade. And you ended up at a place that you wanted to be. So please explain to me how it didn't work out in your favor. What are you talking about? And if you're going to make a statement that way, put your glasses back on. Put them back on. If you're going to make a statement like that, and you're going to say that, you owe it to us to tell us why. Why are you saying that? Because now again, this is what you've done. You're talking in riddles.
Is one of the quotes you're going to read about the Packers game?
You know I'm going to get into that.
Okay, I'll save my comments till after that one.
You know that's going to happen.
I'll save my comments till after that one.
So that is baffling in itself. That was baffling. Okay, so a follow-up question you're gonna have to. And by the way, this is all according to Stephen Holder, Stephen Holder. I'm sorry. This is all based on his thread that I'm reading right now. So, then the obvious follow-up question is: so, did you request a trade? There was no response. He didn't answer that question. Which obviously, if you don't answer the question, you're giving me yes. So let me go back to what you said before. After the season, a lot of back and forth with my agent. Things didn't end the way I wanted. How did it not end the way you wanted if you requested a trade to leave this team?
My only guess.
When they did things for you to try to help you stay here.
My only guess would be is that behind closed doors, they did not guarantee him the starting position. That would be what I take away from that comment, is that things did not turn out the way they wanted. You wanted a trade to the Colts, you got that, so it can't be that.
But we're gonna get to the Packers quote, and like we're kind of dancing around that a little bit because like what you just said, yeah, this is again you being a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I'm not sure what else you could take from it besides that.
Why would the Eagles guarantee you starting after the way you looked? You looked like doo-doo juice all of 2021. I'm sorry, 2020. Doo-doo juice. You were terrible. You were terrible. I'm going to say, because I got more venom about this. So let me keep going. We talked about his connection with Frank Reich. We don't need to hear that. Then it was asked where last year's struggles, mental or physical, and he says it was a culmination of everything. It was a tough year. You learn from it and get better from it. Again, we're talking riddles. If you're saying what mentally was the issue with you, what was going on?
Who is his PR guy?
I don't know, but he needs to be fired.
No, he needs a raise.
Oh,
his PR guy needs a raise.
PR guy, yeah. So just going into that a little bit more and diving deeper into that. So you're saying that it was a combination of mental and physical. Now, I thought that it was mental. So now you're saying something physical was going on? What was going on with you physically? Because am I crazy here? Or were you supposed to be coming into 2020 healthy? So what physically was the problem? Because you said, again, were last year's struggles mental or physical? It was a culmination of everything. So what physically was wrong with you? Because am I crazy? But I don't remember seeing you on any injury reports.
I don't either.
I was led to believe you were very healthy last year. So what physically was the problem? And now here's where we really start capping.
Okay.
This is cap time. This is big cap. On Jalen Hurts, Jalen and I had a great relationship. I wish him nothing but the best. He's got a lot of ability. I have a lot of respect for him. Oh, really? Because last week, Jalen Hurts, number 2, came out and said that he's not heard from you since all this stuff went down.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Quote.
Oh yes.
I told you.
Yes.
Remember, we were talking earlier before the show about my curated bubble.
Yeah. He has said, I have not heard from this man. Whose man's? So this is being contradicted by you saying that you had. What do you mean you had a great relationship? I don't think. And the way Jalen Hurts said it, it wasn't like, yeah, it wasn't like we haven't talked, but we're in a good place. It was, I haven't talked to him in months. Listen, let me ask you a question. Can you have a great relationship with someone you don't talk to for months?
Yes. You didn't expect me to say that.
No, I didn't. Please explain.
I mean, I have friends I can go months without talking to.
Yeah, but like in this. Okay, let me rephrase the question. Can you have a great working relationship with someone you don't talk to for months? Okay, I'm gonna phrase the question. I'm not talking about like a working relationship. You can't have a great relationship. Like we can't go months without talking and expect the show to go well.
Yes, agreed.
And like even when Carson leaves, like We could have, like, you didn't do, like, a goodbye to, like, yo, bro, like, I'm out of here, but I wish you luck, whatever. Nothing. Ghost time. We on your block. It's like a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
So that is absurd, by the way. That itself is absurd. And again, like, if you're his, like, people around him, hey, Carson, do you know Jalen talked last week and said you guys haven't talked in months? Let's not talk about him today in that light. Say anything else, but don't make it seem like you guys are friends, because you're not. So don't do that. Okay. So on being benched, he says, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not fun. A lot of things. I don't know why they happened or why they went the way they did. But you have to look at yourself in the mirror as a man. So you think you deciding to pack up all of your stuff and move and leave the city and go to another team is you looking at yourself in the mirror? I feel like that's the very opposite of that. Like when Michael Jackson wrote Man in the Mirror, this is not what he was talking about. You didn't make that change. You changed cities. You changed uniforms. But are you a changed man? No, you're not. You're not a changed man. Because if you looked at the man in the mirror, the person you look back at would be telling you you were doo-doo juice in 2020, and that's why you lost your job. You didn't lose your job because no one liked you. You didn't lose your job because you weren't good in the locker room. You lost your job because you stank. That's why you lost your job. You were terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were awful. That's why you lost your job. And now, let's get into the main event.
All right, I've been waiting for this one.
The last one I'm going to read, the main event, which is the one that really should, if you ever were a Carson Wentz fan, if you ever believed in this man, if you ever looked at him as your guy, this should be immediately
a red flag.
And you should say, I'm out. This is the I'm out quote right here.
Let's hear it.
And this is honestly a cultivation of, if you've been listening to this show, this is what we've been talking about with this man for months. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to blame everything else. Oh, it's Howie. Oh, it's Jeffrey. Oh,
I mean, it is, but.
Right. But and like we said all along, the number one reason for Carson Wentz's failures is Carson Wentz. Carson screwed Carson. He's the number one reason. And this quote says it all.
Let's hear it.
Wentz said the Green Bay game was the moment he realized this might not be it in Philly. Are you kidding me? Let me take you back 13 years ago. Because we gotta, like, it's crazy with the Carson Wentz era. It has made me appreciate the Donovan McNabb era so much more. And Donovan McNabb as a person. Donovan McNabb as a quarterback. The things that people said about him in this city, the things that he went through, he never not once not wanted to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Not once. He was traded from the team. He didn't ask to be traded. Andy Reid, rightfully so, decided that, you know what, we need to trade him now because he's going downhill. And, you know, you look at his play with the Redskins and the Vikings, it was proven positive that he was going downhill. He never was the same guy again. Really, to me, the turning point of his whole career was 2006 ACL, when he tore his ACL.
Against the Titans?
Yes.
Yeah. Because
what ends up with a guy like Donovan's a big man.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the greatest work ethic. He's not a workout guy. He's not a slender man. So
he's a pound the weights but not hitting the treadmill kind of guy.
Right. So conditioning has always been in question. So you have a guy like that, the bad cardiovascular conditioning, probably a little bit overweight for the position when he's putting on his body. You don't want an ACL. You don't want to have knee issues. So that was kind of the beginning of the end. And you look at his play after that, he never was the same guy. But 2008, playing the Ravens, Donovan had been sticking up the joint for weeks. So out of respect, Reid doesn't bench him yet. But it gets to the point where it's like, yo, bro, we're trying to win football games here. We can't have this. Go sit down and think. Was it embarrassing? Absolutely.
Kevin Cobb looked terrible.
Was it humiliating?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're Don McNabb. You've at this point you've been to
four
NFC Championship games in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, a whole bunch of Pro Bowls.
You were considered to be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL at one point.
Yeah.
Now you're on the bench watching Kevin Kolb? What? How'd this happen to me? But what happened the following week? Donovan gets his job back. They put up 45 against the Cardinals.
Glad that was not the answer for me. I have
Donovan
no clue.
goes out and balls out.
Yeah.
And the Eagles go on a run, sneak in the playoffs, and end up in the NFC Championship game
against Arizona. We were a handful of plays away from an all-Pennsylvania Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
And
when Deshaun catches that ball.
I think the Eagles take the Steelers in that game.
Yeah, when Deshaun catches that ball, I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't believe this. How did this happen? So I have to highlight that to talk about this. Because at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to your feelings, I tell my kids all the time this. This is a quote. If I bring them out here right now, they can quote this. You are entitled to your feelings. You are entitled to feel the way you feel. However, you are not entitled to act out in a way just because you feel a certain type of way. Like, because I'm angry, I can't just go out and just like shoot someone because I'm angry. You know, because my feelings are hurt. You can't do that because what happens? There's consequences for that. Did no one have this call with Carson Wentz?
No.
Like, you're okay. It's okay to be upset. You have every right to be upset that you got benched. I understand all of that. I'm not like pushing his feelings to the side. I'm not saying he shouldn't be hurt. But if you're going to talk about you looked at the man in the mirror, you looked back and said, you know what, bro, we need to fight for this. We put ourselves in this position. Because let's be honest, I don't have the schedule in front of me. Carson Wentz was due to juice almost all season. He had one half of really good football.
Yeah.
Like one half. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. He had the half against Washington. He had the half against Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah. He played really good.
He played okay in the second half against the Ravens, but a lot of that was the Ravens took the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And everything after that was terrible. It was so bad, in fact, that you, Carson Wentz, stood up in front of your teammates. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm playing terrible. I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. I promise I'm going to do better. And you did do better. That was going to the Browns game. Then you threw that terrible interception in the flat.
Oh, yeah.
Where you literally threw the ball up and said, here you go.
Yeah.
That should have been a win. So all of these things led to Green Bay, where Doug is in this position now. It's like, bro, what do you want from me? You're terrible right now. I don't know why. I don't know why you're terrible, but you just are. Go sit down and think about it. And like, maybe the reason why they decided to go with Jalen Hurts the rest of the season, aha moment, maybe is because of Carson's attitude. Maybe it's the way he responded to this. And they said, you know what? We can't with this guy.
I don't understand how my biggest thing is, like I said, the Packers quote.
That is the most damning quote, definitely.
You got benched and you said this might not be it.
Like, it's scary that was his first thought. Like, I need to leave.
I'm so emotionally drained from this.
But think about
team.
that. Like, stay there with me.
No, I'm there.
Stay there with me.
I'm there with
you.
you.
Your first reaction to being told to sit down because you're terrible is, I need to leave this team. That says a lot about you as a person and who you are as an individual.
Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen when he plays bad there?
Right. You're not gonna throw an interception. You're not gonna have great games. You're gonna have a bad game. And you know, Frank Reich's not gonna babysit you.
No.
Like, the honeymoon's gonna wear off. If you start throwing the ball over the place, you're out of there too. This is your last shot. And like when it comes to Carson, like, I'm not rooting for him, but I'm also not rooting against him. I frankly, I don't care. I don't. But I just don't understand these people that defend him on the field and defend him as a Philadelphia. I'm not talking about the A1 Foundation. Yes, Carson Wentz did amazing things for this city. We can't take that away from him. That's amazing. That's awesome. That has nothing to do with this. I'm talking about, as a Philadelphia Eagle, what he gave the city as the franchise quarterback as an Eagle. What he gave to the locker room as an Eagle. What he gave to the front office as an Eagle. How in the world can you sit here on March 19th, 2021 and defend this man and say that he was not the biggest problem of all of this? How can you sit here and look me in the face and tell me that he's not the biggest problem of all of this? How? How, Sway?
I don't know what you want me to say. Like
it's just so, but like that's my frustration.
Yeah, no, the problem is that it's going to wear off there eventually.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to, like, they're a playoff ready roster right now. If he doesn't come in there and perform day one, it's going to be problems within the locker room. You know, most of the players there probably don't know him very well.
Right.
We said this, a couple weeks ago on the show, that I don't think players around the league really know Carson Wentz.
Right.
You have the every player kind of knows Odell. You can see Odell working out with all sorts of guys. Players around the league know him. I don't really think players around the league know Carson.
I would agree.
Because the only year that he made the Pro Bowl, he was hurt, couldn't play in it, never didn't participate or anything.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of events where you get to know the other guys around the league.
Yeah, I agree.
He played at North Dakota State.
He's kind of a recluse, though, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I feel like he's not a dude that opens up to a lot of people.
I am in the same mode of where I like to go, do what I got to do, and go back home. So I hear that.
Yeah.
But, another thing, he played at North Dakota State. It wasn't like he had, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 guys on his college roster.
And he was hurt a lot, too, so he was isolated a lot, I'm sure.
So...
But here's another thing. Here's another log I'm gonna throw in the fire.
Well, teams players on his new team will tolerate it because they don't really know him to a certain. But eventually, that will wear off, and it will be a problem. Now, I'm only rooting on him to convert that pick to a first round.
75%. Yeah. Yep.
That's the only thing that I.
That's the number.
Am worried about that he does. Outside of that, I do not care.
Right.
I'm completely.
He's not my type of person. He just isn't.
I am emotionally beaten down from the Carson Wentz drama this year.
And I wish I had a megaphone to say this. I'm going to scream from the mountaintops. Being a Christian does not make you a good person.
Wow.
Just because you were religious, it doesn't mean you were a good person.
Wow. Listen, you're out here saying things people don't want to hear.
Do you know how many scumbags I know that went to church on a regular basis?
I went to Catholic school. I understand.
Honestly, I will tell you from personal experience, sometimes religious people are some of the worst people in the world.
Whenever I see somebody's bio on social media say, to a Christian conservative,
right.
I already know they're a terrible person.
Out. Yeah, I practice Christianity. I try to do my best every day, but I'm not a perfect person.
See, here's what it is you don't necessarily have to be religious. Don't be a terrible person.
Right.
It's cut and dry like that. Don't be a terrible person.
So I'm going to throw this in here, too, this log on the fire. Because who's Carson's best friend on the Eagles? It was Zach Ertz, right?
Yeah.
And you look at Zach Ertz's year last year and how he was walking around with the pouty boo-boo lip all year because he wasn't getting his way.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically quit on the team.
Yep.
Now, these two are having conversations behind closed doors. They're talking.
For sure.
So
having Thanksgiving together.
Yeah. You guys are both in the same pot of negativity that was surrounding this team last year. Zach Ertz, he was not a factor, I don't think, in any game the entire season.
No, I understand he was hurt, so he missed a couple games. But, number one, I don't ever like to question the heart of someone. Like a pro athlete.
It's uncomfortable.
Because I don't know.
Right.
But I have to wonder, is the fact of everything was his contract part of the reason why his injury lasted so long?
Yeah. I mean, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
Because you got to have those questions,
No, I mean,
especially.
obviously, I'm not saying that he wasn't hurt and faked his injury.
No, that's not what
but,
we're saying. But like, you could also.
Could you have come back in 4 weeks and instead you came back in 6?
Right. Which athletes do that.
Oh yeah.
They do that. They play those games.
I would do it.
And like, Zach Ertz,
If
back in '66, I would have done it.
Oh yeah. If I ever get a sore throat, we ain't doing a show for months.
Well, that's important to us. That's vital. It's our Achilles.
So, I used to have the best fake call-in voice when I would call out of work when I was sick.
Just lower it down.
No, it was so believable. I'd be like, it was like a combination of like faking sick and trying to fake waking up. I'd be like, hello.
Well, that's what you want to call. You want to call the first thing if you're going to call out sick.
You gotta call.
You gotta call immediately when you wake up.
Yeah.
Because you sound terrible anyway. The first use of your voice. I mean, is awful.
It's like when you called me the other day to talk about the Sixers. I think I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And we had a whole conversation.
And you had no idea what happened.
No clue. I texted you the next day. I was like, yeah, I had no idea.
What just took place. Yeah, but like all of these factors, but the biggest factor for people, like, listen, I know you wanted to believe in Carson. I get it. I wanted Carson to be our guy too.
I wanted a 15-year, top draft pick, multiple championships, multiple Pro Bowlers, best quarterback in franchise history, retire the number, Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's what I wanted.
I wanted all of that too. And in 2017, we thought we had that. In 2016, when he played in 2016, I was like, I feel good about this.
In 2018.
2019. 2020, no. That was not it. And like the most dangerous thing about Carson Wentz is that he is a person that is oblivious to accountability. He does not take accountability for his actions at all. And that is a dangerous way to live your life.
Do you think that the injuries just beat him down physically and he will never be back to the same?
I mean, we could ask a question. I mean, it's a fair thing. It's a fair thing to say. He has been the injuries. He tore his ACL, his MCL, and then played a couple plays on that. Then you had the back injury directly attributed to the knee injury. Then you had the concussion. Like, yeah, I mean, all of that stuff I'm sure wears on a person. However, and maybe that's what he was talking about when he was talking about physically it being an issue with him. However,
I don't think he really had an injury this year. I think it could have been just a culmination of I'm not sold, and I'm not a doctor, not a neurologist. I don't think he was over that concussion.
I mean, listen, concussions have been known to linger from
And the thing apparently his was I'm not sure how they classify tiers of concussions.
Yeah.
But you know how you have a level 1 sprain,
right.
I guess in terms
he was not goofy in that game.
Yes, in terms of concussion, that was a higher up on the scale level concussion.
Yeah, he was not goofy.
It was to the point that Russell Wilson sought out Doug Peterson after the game to try to figure out what's going on, because I'm sure some people out there know, but most people probably don't know is that Russell Wilson is Wentz's idol. At the quarterback, as far as playing quarterback goes. Like, when Wentz was growing up, his guy was Russell Wilson. So when they play each other,
it's a big deal.
It's a big that's like Justin Herbert when he played against Tom Brady.
Right.
Or
the first time Jameis Winston ever came here. He grew up an Eagles fan.
Yeah. And played. Yeah, he was
literally
same
singing
thing.
"Fly Eagles Fly."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get all of that, but I don't know. It was. I knew that we knew this conference was coming because yesterday, and I knew the build up. I had no intention of talking about it. He just can't get out of his own way.
Can we save the other conference for later?
Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I can't. that drain. We're gonna talk. We'll get into Sirianni and Roseman on Monday. I'm tired. I had things I want to talk about the NBA and the vaccine. I can't. That literally spent all my energy.
That Carson thing.
It's emotionally draining.
It is,
because the draining part of it is the denial that we have in this fan base of people who, no matter what, will never go against Carson Wentz. No matter what evidence is put in front of you, they will not go against that. Like, I am a person that When I'm presented with new information, I adapt to that new information. Even if I was on the other side of something, if someone presents me with a better case, I say, okay, all right, I have to take this in consideration now. We have a bunch of people out there that will not take in consideration that maybe, just maybe, Carson was the issue. The number one issue, I'll say. It doesn't mean there wasn't other things, there wasn't other factors. Because I've defended him. There were times I defended him. I get it. The Nick Foles situation was a mess. The way the Eagles handled that was not the greatest at all. And the statue, I get all of that. That had to be hard. I'm not taking any of that away from him. But there's too many people out there talking about this man's character. There's too many teammates that have come out and said he's not accountable. There's too many coaches that went to war with him that didn't go well. There's just too much evidence out there that he is the main problem. And the number one piece of evidence is his play in 2020. Then, on top of that, your reaction to being benched was, I need to leave Philadelphia. Now I need to get better.
I'm not going to be here.
Now I need to get better. You thought, no, I need to leave this team. That's what you thought. How can anyone look at that and say, that's my guy? Come on, bro. Come on, man.
I'm still taking suggestions about what to do with my Carson jersey. I don't really want to be a burn the jersey kind of guy. Like,
yeah, that's a cachet now at this point.
But I'm open to suggestions. So
you donate to like Goodwill or something like that.
Well, no, that's corny.
Donate to Goodwill?
Yeah.
Why's that?
Well, I'm not like donating my this is the first jersey I've ever owned that I'm now willingly want to get rid of and do something.
Well, why don't you put it on Twitter?
I'm not. I have. Nobody responded.
Oh, okay.
They were too busy with doing other things.
All right.
Yeah.
Responding to other things.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like donating to Goodwill is not corny. I donate to Goodwill all the time. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't need this crap, and I get rid of it.
Right.
But I'm saying for this scenario, no, I need to do something with this.
Well, I'll think about it over the week, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, let me know. Now let me. Do you follow that I Am Athlete show? It's got like Brandon Marshall, Ocho Cinco.
I've seen clips,
and it has a couple other people in it too.
I'm just like, the clips have intrigued me, and it looks like I watched the one where Brandon Marshall got into Ocho Cinco.
Yeah.
Over diet.
Yeah.
So I saw that clip. Did they have Cam Newton on that show?
That's
the one Cam Newton was on.
He's been on an episode. I'm not sure which.
I'm pretty sure
which episode, but he's been on an episode.
Yeah. So I saw those clips, and it seems really entertaining. I'm so busy, I don't have time. But I do know what you're talking about.
So one of my favorite ones is the episode with T.O.
Ooh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So you have T.O., Brandon Marshall, and Ocho Cinco. No. Well,
no McNabb talk.
At least not in the part that I was watching.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole thing because it's long.
It's really long. Yeah.
But they get on to basically Brandon Marshall poses Ocho Cinco is saying that he's better than T.O. And Brandon Marshall kind of just sits back and goes, well, let me hear your cases. And T.O. makes his case. I mean, I'm taking T.O. Over Ocho. It's not even close.
And that's not disrespect to Chad Johnson. He's just not.
Yeah, I'm just not.
He's not T.O.
He's not T.O.
T.O.'s in the argument for one of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
You can make a debate that he's the greatest wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
You can't with Chad Johnson.
No. So Chad's freaking out. All whatever it is that he's saying.
Yeah.
And T.O. is just like, yo, we can lace him up, go out there and run right now, and I'll run a better 40 than you.
That's facts, though.
So then Brandon Marshall posed this question: would you rather have Brandon Marshall or Ocho Cinco?
Definitely Chad Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree. You want the numbers?
This is, I mean, this is why I say Chad Johnson.
Okay.
Chad Johnson, through his career, was a more explosive player than Brandon Marshall.
Okay.
Like, Brandon Marshall is more, they're two different type of receivers. Like, Brandon Marshall, to me, is more a possession guy than Chad Johnson was more of a big play guy. So, I guess, what are you looking for? Like, what were you looking for in your team? Like, if I want big play explosions and and that type of, I'm going Chad Johnson. But if I want like a possession guy, I'm going Brandon Marshall.
Okay. Well, Brandon Marshall has about 1,300 more yards.
What are the years though? Like how many more years? Because Chad Johnson,
let me see.
may not have played as long as Brandon Marshall.
Give me 1 second. Pull it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Because it's like, I mean, you look at
11 for Ocho Cinco. And we have why can't they just make stat pages uniform for each player? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11 to 13.
Who had 13?
Brandon Marshall.
Okay, so
Ocho.
two more years.
2 more years.
And those,
in fairness to call it even, Ocho played a minimum of 12 games every single season. Brandon Marshall only played 11 games his last 2 seasons combined. So as far as games played,
it's pretty even.
It's as far as games played goes, it's only a 10-game difference.
But also to throw this into the equation, that Chad Johnson had a contract with Miami that was voided after all that domestic abuse issues. So he still had he left probably a good 2 to 3 years on the table.
Okay, yeah. Well, the difference is about 10 games.
Yeah.
When it all could. So, Brandon Marshall has about 1,300 more yards.
Okay.
Let me do the quick math. What is it? It is 83 off of. He's got 16 more touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He has 204 more catches.
Okay.
Same amount of Pro Bowls. Ocho has more first team awards, but as far as just
consistency,
records, numbers, all that, Brandon Marshall has him. He's got also. I don't believe he has his record anymore. This record, but he did have the most catches in a game.
Give me Chad Johnson's best year versus Brandon Marshall's best year.
All right, it is. I'm going to Brandon Marshall. I'm going to go assume it was that one Bears season.
Okay. So what was the numbers?
2000. He had 1,500 yards, 118 catches, and 11 touchdowns.
Okay. Now give me Ocho's best year.
His best season was 2007.
Okay.
1440, 93 catches, 8 touchdowns.
Okay.
So 3 less touchdowns, about 65 less yards, and about 25 less catches.
Okay. I mean, listen.
And at that point in time, he was catching the ball from Carson Palmer.
Right.
His guy.
That was Carson's
yes.
second best year. That was the year if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the year he tears his ACL against Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
You are correct.
Which that was a really good Bengals team that year.
Because
TJ Houshmandzadeh, my favorite names ever.
I mean, after that, his play dropped off. I mean, he went from following that season in the following 4 years, he had 18 touchdowns in 4 years after that.
Yeah, they had really bad quarterback play up there after that, right? I mean, it was bad.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, it was bad.
Young Fitzmagic.
Yeah, it was bad up there. But listen, I definitely will say with that information, you've definitely opened my eyes. I think I've disrespected Brandon Marshall a little bit by dismissing him so quickly. I mean, I still take Chad Johnson, but it's definitely way closer than I thought it was.
I mean, we're talking Brandon Marshall's over 12,000 career receiving yards, 30 catches away from 1,000 catches.
That's insane.
I mean, we're talking borderline Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the Hall of Fame, the eye test for me is king. Like, I should be able to if I have to say, is he a Hall of Famer? He's not a Hall of Famer.
I would agree with that.
If it can even be debated, it should be a no, in my opinion.
Fair.
But
wait on a second. I'm gonna go back to Carson real quick. I didn't see this in the comments. Someone said, so literally, this is they're reacting to the Green Bay quote. So literally the very first instance he is held accountable, he gave up on the team. Screw him and anyone who defends him anymore. You can at me. I feel you, bro.
Who was it?
Oh, I just clicked out of it. Let me get back to that.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I like him too. I'm
Assuming it's a guy. It could be a woman, and if that's the case, I apologize.
NR_Garrett.
Never heard of him.
Neither. Eagles logo on the Avi. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's so what did Brandon Marshall? So Brandon Marshall and Ojo Cinco get into it after that?
Anquan Bolden. 13-7.
Anquan Bolden. That's a name. Name I've heard in a while. So does Ocho and Brandon Marshall get after it after that? They get into it?
They get into it every episode.
All right, listen. I don't have anything else to say. Do you?
No, I actually have a couple people I have to slay on social media real quick. They caught my attention. So.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Catch me at Justin Emery Show on Twitter while I'm still allowed to be there.
Yeah, Marcus be tweeting everywhere. Brad Emery Pod everywhere. Brad Emery Show. Get that merch. Justin out here sporting the fresh Brad Emery.
Oh yeah.
And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you're never gonna stop us. Late.